Hello, and welcome to DocuPanda. I'm Uri Merhav, co-founder of DocuPanda. In this demo, we'll learn what DocuPanda does, what it's good for, and we'll walk through a simple demo where we see its powers in understanding rental leases. Rental leases are just an example. We're going to look at rental leases just because these are documents that most of us are familiar with, but you could literally upload any kind of document and DocuPanda will understand it exactly the way you want it, even if it has handwriting, even if it has check marks, even if it has filled forms, even if it has complex tables. So let's get started. For the purpose of this demo, as said, we'll be looking at rental leases. So let's take a look at what the rental lease looks like. It's kind of fun. You look at 50 odd pages of yada yada, all of this to say, you give me some money and I'll let you live here. So that's fun. Now let's imagine maybe we're a real estate company and want to understand all our contracts at scale. So the first thing we need to do to understand these contracts is upload them. So let's just do that, right? So we can take whatever, like these two rental leases. We could give it the dataset name, and I recommend that. It's always a good idea to to name your documents, and you hit submit. And now the documents are uploading to DocuPanda. It takes about 30 seconds to process these documents because they're kind of big. It's 50 pages each. So in order to speed things along, I've already pre-uploaded these documents. And you can see here, this will be the result. If you wait around for 30 seconds, you'll get the documents parsed. Now, when DocuPanda parses a document, all it does is it understands the text that is contained in its document, every table. You can see here, for example, on the left-hand side, we have the original document. On the right-hand side, you can see we already understood this piece of the data as a table, and so on and so forth. So that's very nice, but that's still not what we really want in life. It's still a huge blob of text. And this is where DocuPanda's true power comes into play. What DocuPanda is good for is understanding the documents in the way you need them to be understood. So let's do that. Let's select a bunch of documents. You might want to select 5 to 10 and not 1 or 2, but even a single document can be good enough to create a schema. And our goal right now is to explain to our AI what we want in life, right? Like what questions do we want to get answered about rental documents? Not only these two, but like any future rental lease that we might get. So let's give it a name, lease schema, whatever, V2, because I already have something on my account, I think. Actually, I don't. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Lease schema. And now all you need to do is just, with words, explain what you want. So let's do it quick and dirty. Let's say I want the renter's full name, because maybe multiple people rent around the rental lease. Full name. Let's do this itemized. You can write it in pretty much any format you like, by the way. You don't have to overthink it. So renter full name, monthly amount. Let's break it down into a number and a currency code like USD or EUR. The reason I wrote this is that otherwise maybe we'll just, DocuPanda will just give you $20,000, just a string, $20,000, which might be good enough. Maybe that's exactly what you want. But I find it cleaner to have the number separate from the currency code. Anyway, that's up to you guys. Yeah, and let's say I want the move-in date and move-out date. And specifically, can I put my, the renter move in with a pet? Yes, no. Okay, let's say that, and this is like the sort of like specific behavior that DocuPanda lets you configure. Maybe for some reason you really care about ferret pets, right? Like you want DocuPanda to go through every rental lease and try its best to understand, can I put my ferret or my alligator at home, as opposed to just generally, can I put any kind of pet? You could do that as well, right? So, like DocuPanda gives you the power to understand documents in a very specific way that makes sense for your use case. even if it requires a lot of reasoning. There probably is not anywhere in the contract something that specifically answers alligators, but maybe there's something that says mammals are allowed, and then by implication alligators are not allowed. DocuPanda will absolutely say alligators false in that case, because you have an actual thinking being between you and the document understanding. Great. So now we've generated a schema creation job. A schema creation job does two things. First, it generates what we call a schema. A schema is just a bunch of placeholders. It will have something like renter name, string, move-in date, date, and pets allowed, true or Boolean, right? True or false. So reading through a schema and making sense of it is kind of hard. Let's take a look at it and see. There's a lot going on, right? So because every object we define, whether it's a string, whether it's a number, this is if you read through it, you will eventually understand exactly what's going on. But I would say this is the hard way to understand how our schema behaves. The easy way is to look at the resultant standardizations. Now, a standardization is basically the result of us taking our schema and applying it to a document. So by default, just by asking DocuPanda to generate a schema on those two documents, we automatically also standardize those two documents into an output payload. And that's much easier to understand. So let's look. How about I, by the way, clean up these old results that I have here. Okay. So yeah, let's look at our two new results. Here's my rental lease results on my Berkeley lease from way back when. This is me and my wife. This is the amount. You see it's a number. You see the currency symbol is extracted separately, just the way I asked it. Move-in date, move-out date, that's correct. And, can move in with pet? No. Awesome. So, not so awesome if I want to move with a pet, but, it's a correct answer. So that's awesome. We have more capabilities on DocuPanda, and most of them we'll discuss in a separate video. But I'll just highlight broadly that we give you the ability to classify every document. So maybe you have like a stream of faxes moving in, and you want to understand if it's an invoice or a quote or an NDA, or a contract. You can do that. You can automatically classify. You can maintain, of course, multiple schemas to understand different documents in different ways. So maybe when it's a rental contract, you want the rental amount and deposit amount, and when it's a purchase agreement, you want the total amount and the payment schedule, right? So you can do that. So classification powers that, because you can push in a document, understand what type of document it is, and then apply the relevant schema. Of course, you can do all of what you see here with code, and you can read about that in our resources API docs to see how you can turn any process into a code-driven process that happens completely automatically. And lastly, kind of useful or kind of interesting to know that we can also tell you where our information came from. So what does that mean? Understanding a document is tricky, and maybe our AI got it right, but maybe the importance of this document understanding is so high that you want to have a human in the loop. You want to review, okay, we said the monthly amount is $50, $2,500. Where does our AI pull that from, right? Like, you want to see the evidence for our decision. There you go. So let's take a look at what that looks like, right? So see, like my result here was that the rent is this obscene amount, and indeed, we just by clicking around, you get to the to the relevant parts, right? So if I was just reading through this document, I would have to scroll to, like, I don't know, page 30 or something to know that bottom line pets aren't allowed. With DocuPanda, all I do is click the words pets no, and it scrolled right to the place where the evidence lies. and that can be very, very useful. There's more to explore. We also automatically split documents. So if you have like a very long document, we can tease it apart into sub-documents. There's plenty more to DocuPanda, but I think at this point you have a good first glance of the kind of things you can accomplish using DocuPanda. So I hope you have a great time using us. And always remember, you have this nice little chat icon that we encourage you to use to talk to one of our team members and get help if you're not able to extract exactly what you need from a document. Happy document understanding to you all.